Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Shifter Lines 105. Now, we're still playing catch-up on the phenomenal series from gUBBLOR, both Equality Cages and Shifter Lines. And, frankly, if we're not doing double time, at least a weekday puzzle and a weekend puzzle, we're really never going to catch up. So, just to give you an idea, we're only halfway through the puzzles the man has published. He's a prolific constructor, and the vast majority of his puzzles, I'm actually literally taking a look at them right now. There are, out of probably about 30 puzzles, just kind of as a quick glance at it, only 5 of the 30, maybe 8 at a stretch, have been rated less than 90%. When I say less than 90%, it's like 89, 88%. So they're always absolutely phenomenal puzzles. Now, you're looking at this and you're probably wondering, well, that all makes sense, Sleuth, but where's Sleuth? First off, why are we looking at a demon? Because Shifter Lines 105 is all about Phistomefel, and who's that? I'm sure many of you are familiar with the other well-known constructor Phistomefel in the Phistomefel ring. This, I imagine, is an homage from gUBBLOR towards Phistomefel and a direct reference to the Phistomefel ring. If you're confused about any of that, well, let me first explain the thumbnail, then we'll get onto the puzzle. So, I'm going to call it profile picture of Phistomefel is essentially something not too far off what you have in here. It's essentially like a red demon sitting on a throne of bones. It's a two-horned red demon, very muscular, hooves for feet, has wings, and it's essentially not far off what you've got there in the picture. Hence, kind of the fairly scary thumbnail. That's all I could say about that. Let's take a look at today's puzzle. Let me actually make sure this is what I have in focus as I bring it up. Right, so today's puzzle, Shifter Lines 105, Phistomefel, Who's That? By gUBBLOR. And please excuse the extremely small font size to fit in all the rules on the screen. As usual, the rule set is in the description down below for you to take a look at it in more detail should you wish to do so. But nevertheless, I will quickly step through the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Did I? Every 3x3 box. That's looking better. I'll come back to Shifter Lines in a moment. There are Kropki dots, a black dot between cells, such as the ones that we have in here. If this was a 2, have to be in a 2-to-1 ratio for the two cells that are connected with the black dot. Therefore, this would have to be a 1 or a 4. As long as one cell is double the other, you're good to go. We also have white dots. So if this was a white dot connecting this cell, this would have to be consecutive. So that's 1 or 3 to make sure that works. And there are no negative constraints. Having something like 3 and 6 in here, one is double the other without a black dot is not a problem. Having something like 4 and 5 in here is not a problem either. They could be consecutive without a white dot. We also have XV rule sets. So adjacent cells connected with an X must sum up to 10. We have a few of these dotted throughout the puzzle, and all of these have to add up to 10. So if this was a 2, for example, this would have to be an 8, so that the two cells joined up with an X sum up to 10. We also have V's. So if you imagine this was a 2, this cell here would have to connect the 2 that's connected to the 2 with a V, needs to help it add up to 5, and therefore this would have to be a 3. Again, no negative constraints, so nothing stops me from having something as follows, such as, and I'm just looking around, where have I not actually sort of put in a whole bunch of digits. Nothing stops me from doing something like this, where the 3 and 7 add up to 10 without an X. Nothing stops me from doing something like this, where the 3 and the 2 are connected together, adding up to a 5 without a V. We also have even/odd, so there's a little bit of parity going on. Cells with a filled square must be even. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. So these have to be from 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then cells with a filled circle must be odd. I see quite a few of them, actually. Well, 3 times 4, that's 12 of them. All of these have to be odd digits. They can be from 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's all the odd digits that are available in Sudoku rules. Lastly, of course, is the shifter line that is outlining this Phistomefel ring. So adjacent digits within the same box on a shifter line share both parity and polarity. Parity being even/odd, polarity being low or high, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be low digits, 6, 7, 8, 9, that would be high digits. Now notice in my list I did not include a 5 because a 5 can never be on a shifter line. Now, one last thing to be aware of is every time a shifter line changes boxes, so let's say these two lines, for example, are 7, 9. That's a high odd digit. As you enter the next cell, you need to either change parity, so this could be, for example, 6, 8, or polarity. This could be 7, 9, odd, and therefore low odd, 1, 3. What you can't do is shift both of them with a 2, 4. What you can also not do is, of course, maintain the same thing with another 7, 9. 9, not 8. So that's all the rules we have for today. Now, I know some of you really struggle with Phistomefel rings, and you've seen the explanation so many times, and you still struggle with them. I don't know if I'm going to attempt before the solve to have a go at this. Or what I'm more likely to do is to refer you to what I thought was one of the cleanest explanations from Simon from CTC on number-fill. So what I'll do is I'll probably link up here to a video where he does take you through the explanation of why, essentially, I'm going to pause here actually, sorry. If you want to play along, jump to this, jump to the link down below as usual for you to play along, and stop the video here because I'm about to reveal a spoiler, then I'll crack on with the solve. So just remember, Phistomefel ring, if you don't need the explanation, is all the digits are on these cells, and I do mean digits, it's not just they have to be the exact same set of numbers. So these 16 numbers are essentially exactly the same as these 16 numbers. And there's a few set theory Sudoku tricks to show that these are actually exactly equivalent. Right, I'm just going to restart the clock now and see how I get on. And I'm actually very tempted to see if I can solve this without using Phistomefel. And let me give it a go. If I get really stuck, I will use it, because I imagine some of you are not going to necessarily refer to it, and we'll give this a go. So, black Kropki dots, this is some of my favorite where I always start with these, although there's quite a few places where I really do want to have a look. This is from 2 or 4. Just a quick reminder, there are 1, 2, 4, 8. There is one set of digits that can be on black dots. There is another set of digits that can be on black dots, which is 3, 6. But notice there's only 2 numbers in this set. If you need to have 3 unique digits, 3, 6 is never going to do. It's going to be from 1, 2, 4, or 8. And essentially, these are 1, 2, 4, or 8 with a 2, 4 in the middle. Shifter lines. So how am I thinking about this? So I can see that this V has an X on this side. So I know I'm going to use colors that I'm almost certainly going to wipe out later on, because the shifter lines, this is not necessarily the useful trick, but this is a high digit. Therefore, that's a low digit, and therefore this is a high digit again. Now notice, because it's on the shifter line in here, that these two have to be the same polarity and parity. So these two cells are actually high digits themselves. Then you shift back to a low digit, because we're talking about, we're shifting, this is adding up to a 10. You can only ever add up 10 with a set of 1 from low digits, 1, 2, 3, or 4, with a partner from 6, 7, 8, or 9 to add up to 10. So you can always sort of immediately color what is low and high. Sorry, excuse me, this has to be, I made a mistake there. Let me try that again. Both of these have to be low to add up to 5, because obviously they need to be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 1, 4, or 2, 3. Therefore, this has to be low. This has to be high to come back and make that a 10. This has to be low. It's the same, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the same shifter line, therefore the same polarity. This has to be low. you've got a very similar logic going on here. These are low. This is low to add up to 5. This has to be high. This has to be low because it's on the other side of the 10. This has to be a high again. The other side of the 10 of a low digit, these have to be high. And I just want to double check I haven't made a mistake. Yes, I did up here. I don't know why I made that silly mistake there. These are high. Now, these two, I'm not entirely certain what they are. And the reason I say that is, let me think about this for a second. This can easily shift. So let me sort of communicate what I'm thinking, and then I feel like we can... I don't know if I can make progress without using the Phistomefel ring, if I'm honest, but let me just kind of finish that thought. Essentially, we're going from a high digit to a low digit. But remember, this has to be different from both of these, either on parity or polarity. So I'm going to come up with, let's say this is low. That means this might be odd, this might be even, but then I have to shift to a high even digit. So this could either be blue or red, but it's definitely in between these two lines. I'll keep thinking about this just to see if there's anything I'm spotting where we cannot use the Phistomefel ring. And it feels like such a handicap at this point. One thing I am tempted to do is to use more colors than what I have in here, is to use 4 colors. I think I've shown earlier in a different puzzle that actually have using 2 colors with shifted lines is quite useful. But given I really care about highs and lows, I am tempted to see if I can use 4 colors. So something as follows, where in essence, high digits, and I'm going to show it somewhere around here. Just ignore the fact that this quadrant is full of gray things. Just ignore it. That's 1, 3, that's 2, 4. This is 6, 8, and this is 7, 9. And essentially what I'm tempted to do is to use something like red, orange, let's go with blue, and green. Now, obviously I've kind of overloaded these. These are sort of red or orange. I don't actually know which one it is. And these are blue or green. I just know that they are low from 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what I'm going to do is just essentially pick one of them at random to be either red or orange and just see if I can actually figure out what that actually means. And I'm not entirely certain I'm going to be able to. One thing I do know is that both of these are the same. So essentially, if these are both blue, this is green. Because essentially, if that's 2, 4, this is 1, 3 to make sure that these two cells add up to 5. More importantly, to make these two add up to 5 and these two add up to 5, these two digits are the same. So that's kind of one way of thinking about it. Now, let's continue this idea. I'm just going to use fake numbers to better illustrate this. For example, this cannot be a 2, 4. Because we already used, these are 1, 3. And this is 2, 4. And this is 1, 3. The reason is that, and I'll show you sort of if you imagine the digits 1, 2, 4, and 8 on a number line. And essentially these black dots, these black Kropki dots are saying we're selecting 3 consecutive ones. So either you're using 1, 2, and 4 with 2 in the middle, or you're using 2, 4, 8 with 4 in the middle. But the reality is 2 and 4 are gone. So this has to be 1, 3 because it's a low digit and it's not from 2, 4. Therefore, this is the second 1, 3. This is the 2, 4 to make it add up to 5. This is 1, 3. This is now 7, 9 to make sure it adds up to 10. This is 7, 9 once again. This is 7, 9 as well. And this is going reasonably well. Now the question is, how do I link these two? And what I'm going to do is just so that I don't lose track of which ones I've colored, is these of course could be green and these of course could be orange. We will discover what they are shortly. So remember what I said is I need a double shift because this is high, this is low. So I'm fairly sure, excuse me, I'm going to delete all of these references so I don't confuse myself. I'm fairly sure this has to be green, as in this has to be 2, 4. Now, if I make this 1, 3, I'm going to struggle to come up with something that shifts and then shifts again between 1, 3 and 7, 9. Because one option would be essentially 2, 4 to go from 1, 3 to 2, 4. That works, but obviously it doesn't work for the 7, 9. The other option, of course, is I could put 7, 9, as in I change polarity, not parity, but then I've already used 7, 9 in the row, and I'm not making any shift as I jump across here. So that is definitely 2 or 4. This is definitely 6 or 8 to make sure that it adds up to 10. This is the second 6 or 8. This, excuse me, I've got them the wrong way around, haven't I? Yes, I do. I've done this a second time round. This has, oh dear, sleuth. This was quite important to mess up. Oh yeah, so this could be 7, 9. And I think it actually has to be because 6 or 8, there's nothing I can do where it shifts. Because remember, this is either 6 or 8 from 7, 9, which doesn't shift from the 6 or 8, or this is 1, 3, which again cannot be connected directly to 6, 8. So this is helpful. This is 7, 9 for sure. This is 1, 3 for sure. This is a second 1, 3. This is a 2, 4. This is a 1, 3. This is a 7, 9. This is a 7, 9. And I'm pretty confident these are correct. Sorry for the confusion there. And this is green. Now in here, I need something, and you can see it's not 1, 3 over there, because either I'm shifting in polarity, which means a low odd digit, and they're both gone. So this has to be 6 or 8, and that will be orange. And the same kind of trick in here. Yep, 1, 3. This will have to be 6 or 8. So this is a correct pencil marking of all of this now. Now you can see with the 1, 3 pair that there is no 1s in here. So this is not a 1, 2, 4 run. This is a 2, 4, 8 run. We know that there's a 4 in the middle. This is not, there are no 4s else outside these, and this is a 2, 4, 8. 1, 3. Can I do better? What is this white Kropki? This is actually quite helpful. Let's think about it. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, 8 is there. So this can't be 8. This can't be 9. This is from 5, 6, or 7 with a definite 6. You need an odd digit and an even digit on white Kropki dots or pairs. That's essentially the 6 is the must-have in here with the even digit. And essentially we've got 5, 6, or 7. I feel like I'm really pushing the logic to a breaking point at this point, where I just don't know where I could take this without the Phistomefel ring, if I'm honest. Let's see if I can. Let's think about 7 9s for a second. So these 7 9s, let's think about these white Kropki dots. This might actually be helpful. So this is not 9 or 7, obvious, we already have them in the row. Can't be an 8 either because 9 is not available. At a push, it can be 5, 6. So 5, 6 are possible candidates so far. Presumably, so is 4, 5. If this is a 2, 3 pair, that looks achievable. So 4, 5 is still possible. 3, 4 I think is impossible. If I put a 3, 4 pair in here, I've broken the V. Yeah, because I can't have 2 and 1 adding up to a 5. So this is 4, 5, or 6 with a definite 5. Yes, because 7 is not available. You can't have 6 or 7 in here. And whether it's 6 or 5 really influences everything else that's happening around this ring. I can certainly at least use these to think around it a bit. Here's an example. 1 and 3, these 3 cells, where are they in box 3? Well, they're not these 3 cells because of Sudoku. They're not these cells because, well, I mean, we just pencil marked them. We went through all the options. It clearly isn't 7 or 9. It can't be 1, 3. And we've shown that 1, 2 would break the V, and any kind of combination that borrows from these sets will break it. So this is from 1, 3, 7, and 9, and we've got both 1, 3s and one of the 7, 9s. This one specifically. Now, one of these 7, 9s is actually up here to kind of complete the set, so to speak. Pretty sure that's a correct statement. Yes, because we only have 1, 7, 9. This is an even digit. So there's a second 7, 9 in here. So if we're keeping track of all the odd digits, I think at this point we've literally used them all. Because we've got 1, 3, one of the 7, 9s, a second one is in here, the 5 is in there. We've used all 5 digits. So there is an even digit in here alongside with one more there. Come on, Sleuth. I'm really gonna keep pushing this as far as I can without reverting to Phistomefel ring, but let's see how much further I can do this. Yeah, tricky. Let's see what we can do. 7 and 9, you could see they're not both here. What can I do with these two? So the white Kropki dot that was here was very useful. I don't have the same here to help me restrict it. I'll point out something though. If you take a look at all of these pencil marks, I'm clearly missing at least 1, 3. Essentially one of these pairs. So I have this cell in here, but this cell, which is not there, and also different from this cell, is in here. So there's a single 1, 3 there. So that covers the 1, 3, the 7, 9s, and the 5. Then again, all the odd digits are gone. So I have in one of these cells a 2, 4, 6, or 8. Can I do better? Can I do better? Let me think about this for a second. If this was 5, 6, that would be 8. And then there would be a second 2, 4. If this was 4, 5, that would be 2. And then there would be a second 6, 8. So no, both seem to be valid. Can this X help me? You can see it's not 1, 3. So if this is 1, 3, this would be 7, 9. I'm tempted to remove the colors in here and then color the same digits. I am going to actually do that. These two are going to be purple. The purple is joined with, I'm going to go with yellow. Therefore, this is going to be blue. The flip side of this blue is red. This blue gives me purple, gives me blue. This purple will have a flip side of, call it orange. Blue will partner up with green. This will be blue. Almost doesn't matter what these are. Well, I mean, purple goes with orange, we said. Therefore, this is red. And blue goes with red. And therefore, this is orange. And I don't know much about these if they're the same. So the best way now to start thinking about this is I have a blue 1,3 in here, and it can't be there because it would require a red 7,9, and that's not available. So this is not the blue 1,3. This is the blue 1,3. This is from 2, 4, 6, or 8, and specifically it's not a 4 because that would need to be a 6, and we know that the 6 is gone. So this is 2, 8, or 4 on this flip side. Right, I think we can do something with this. Yeah, that looks like we can do something with this. Can I start to push this logic a lot further? Yes, because I can actually do things like this is the orange 7,9, just Sudoku. The red 7,9 can only be in here. The blue 1,3, you can see, can only be there. The purple 1,3 is here. And then this is from, presumably, 5 and 6, which I am going to just pencil mark. They're the only remaining digits that we have, 1, 3, 7, 9. See, the challenge is essentially I need to, without the Phistomefel ring, I need to use these remaining clues to try and make some progress. And I'm getting towards them, but it's just not enough. So let's think about this setup for a second. We've got 1 and 3 in here. What I don't have for sure is a 9 in row 5. The 9 can only be in one of these two cells, which makes orange a 7, makes purple a 3, makes blue a 1, makes red a 9. And then this 9, well, it's not 6. It's either 9 and 1 of 5 or 7. Well, it's not 7. This is a 5-9 pair. This is 6 or 7. You can make a lot more progress than you might expect without using Phistomefel, but we'll keep it going. I'm kind of enjoying the challenge, sort of doing it with my hands tied, so to speak. We still need a lot of digits in here, so I've sorted out all of the odd digits. These are all even digits. Oh, yellow is 2. Therefore, that's not 2. That's not 8. That 2, this is a 6-8 pair. That's a 4-5 pair in here. This is not 4. This 2 means this is a 4. Doesn't tell me about whether this is a 2 or not. Possibly helpful, not necessarily so. 5 we kind of knew is down here. 5 on this odd digit. Well, I mean 5, this can't be a 5 is what I'm trying to say. This is an odd digit, therefore this has to be an even digit across it from the white Kropki dot. This is the 5. This has to be an even digit, and it's not 4, it's 2, 6, or 8. We've got 3 of the even digits. There's a 4th one we've always known up here that is from 2, 6, or 8. Yeah, not enough. How do I know what these are? Let's keep going. Let's see how much further we can push this. Let's think about this white Kropki dot. 9 and 7 tells me there's no 8 in here. 5 and 6 is not possible because that's a 5-6 that would break it. 4-5 is possible, as is 1-2. 2-3 doesn't, 3-4 doesn't, 4-5 works, 5-6 breaks this, and 6-7 breaks this. So these are the options. 9 and 7 in here tells me there is a 6 or 8 with a 2 or 4 down here. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is 2 evens, 4th even. Sorry, 2, 3, and a 4th. You always need one on a white Kropki dot. This is a 5. This is a 6. That's not 5 anymore, and therefore not 4. This is 1 or 2. This is an 8. This is a 2. No 8 in here, therefore no 2, 8. This is 4, 6. This is 1, 2. Yep, we can, I think we can do this. This white Kropki dot, we've got the same thing again here with the 9, 7. In fact, even with a 6 and the 1, 2, I think this has to be 4, 5. So 1, 2 doesn't work. 3, 4 doesn't. 4, 5 does. 5, 6 doesn't. 6, 7 doesn't. And 8 obviously doesn't with no 9 or 7 available. So this is 4, 5. This is 6, 8. This is 2, 5, I'm going to say. Yeah, and this 5 gives us an order. That's a 5. That's a 2. I can complete this now. This is to finish up. It's got an 8 and something else. 3, I'm going to say. 3 and 8. "24 minutes. I've definitely gone the hard route with this. There's no doubt about it. 2, 6, and 8. This is an odd digit. Not sure about that yet. What else can I do? Can I complete any of these? Maybe. So 6, you can see I know 6 is in here. Remember, these are all evens. Really, 6 is the only one that's not down the middle. There's 2, 4, 8, which doesn't help us with these locations. These are all odd. These are all odd except for the 6. I can see that the 5, well, I need it to be in here. That's a 5. There is now 2, 4, a second 2, 4 with an 8. There's an 8 for sure in here, so 2, 4, 8. We know that there's definitely a 6 in here, and there's a 2, 4, 6. There's a second 2, 4 in here with an 8. So if this is 6, 4, that would be 7, and that would be 2 or 8, that's fine. And then that would be 2 or 8 as well. And if this is, yeah, this doesn't really help. Fives, you can see, are not in here. 5s is in one of these 2 cells. This tells us the order. That's a 5. 5 are in none of these. There's a 5 again, pair up here. Without 5, that's nearly all the odd digits done. You can see 1 and 9. They're in none of these cells. They have to be in here. What about the 3? So the 3 or a 7 is kind of the question mark that we have. So essentially, the 3 is either in this group or in this cell, or there's a 7 in here. How do I prove one or the other? By having a 1 and the 5, we know that these are from 3, 7, 9 now. We've got the 2. What is this cell? I mean, the challenge is this 6, 8 could be here, could be there. So this could be 4, 5. Or this could be a 4 with a 6, 8 if these two are different. Okay, we'll keep pushing the logic as far as we can. This is not a 1, because 2 is not available. That's the only consecutive digit to the 1. Again, we don't have a 5 in here, so let's think about what these are. This includes 1 and 7 for sure. Just 1 and 7, 1 and 7, eliminating all the options in here. Because this is even, these are 3 evens, there's a 4th one in there with an odd digit, and the odd digit that is in here is not 5, it's not 1, it's not 9, it's not 7, it is a 3. So there's a 3 in here. Look at that now. The 3 eliminates this cell, the 3 eliminates this cell. This is from 139, and we've already established this is not a 1. And because there's a 3 in here, this is from 179. Helps us not at all with the 268 that we have in here. This is 6 or 8, because it's not 4 and it's not 2. Then we have a third 268 with the 3. And this is a 268 again. 139 with a 5, we need a 7, that can only be in here. It's not next to the odd digit, that's not a 7, that is a 7. That's all the odd digits done. This is from 468. Look at this 3. Well, it can be next to 2 or 4, and the 9 could be next to an 8. There is no 6 in here. Evens, even, 3 evens. Where's the 4th even? This has to be it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odd digits. This has to be an 8. That's a 3. That 8 tells me that's not an 8. Therefore, that's not a 9. That's a 3. That's a 1-9 pair. These are not 9s. That's a 9. That was an even digit anyway, so it doesn't matter. That 3 is next to, unfortunately, both the 2 and the 4. That's not an 8 anymore. Therefore, that's not a 9. We need a low digit, sorry, an even digit in here, and I don't know what it is. Finding this 8 was helpful, but it didn't quite finish it. This is not a 4. This is from 2, 6, or 8. And then we have again 3, 2, 6, or 8. There's a definite 9 in here, which gives me a 5, a 9, a 4, a 5, no 4s, even, even, even. This has to be an even. Another way of doing it, odd, 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 odd. Odd, that's 5 odds. That is not a 3. That is a 3. This is an even digit, and it is 2, 6, or 8 once again. We needed a 3 up here now, because we haven't got it down there. That's not a 3. I'm sure now, like we've done, we can figure out what is the loose odd digit that's here. We've got 1, 3, 7, and 5 all looking at these cells. The only odd digit that can be here is a 9. None of these are 9s. This is a 173 setup with 3s definitely in here. 1-7 pair doesn't exactly help because we know all of the rest are even digits. We can probably, if we can place the 5, which I think we can. So essentially, if you think about the 5s that are in an X-wing, so we have 1, 2, and one of, doesn't matter which one it is, let's just pick this one. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5 odd digits. That has to be a 2. That's a 1. Doesn't exactly help me though. That's a 1. 1 is now up here, which we've essentially largely figured out at this point. What is the odd digit that is left? So we've done, yeah, that's the only one that has a 5 because we've got 1, 3, 7, and 9 and 5. What is the even digit that is in here? Now, knowing that this is definitely unique, I'm pretty sure it's not a 4, 5 because that would make this impossible to disambiguate. So I know it's not 2 or 4, it is going to be a 5, 6, or 8, and this would have to be the 4, but is there a way to prove this that I'm not seeing? Probably. I haven't colored any of these. Can I color any of them? Kind of a fairly natural question. Sort of very tempting to, isn't it? The even digits, just to sort of spot things a bit better. So I am going to lose the odd colors for a second. Don't need any of these anymore. Two is in one of these two cells. See, the only way I'm thinking is I need to start disambiguating these 6 8s, 2 4s to really make progress here. And again, uniqueness means this is almost certainly the one. Maybe triplets and the like. Can I spot any? Here is something, 3 7 staring at a 6 7. That's 6. That's 8. That's 2. That's 8. That's 4. These are not 4s anymore. This is a 2 6. This is a 2 6 again. 8 is in one of these two cells. That's not an 8. These are not 2s. This is a 4 8 pair. That is actually in fact resolved because of this 8. That's a 4. That's an 8. This is not an 8. This is 2 or 6. That's an 8 now. This is from 2 4 or 6. It is now just 4 6. Just completing that column because we've got a 2 in here. This is now a 6 because of this 8. That 6 gives me a 2, a 1, a 7. This is big now. 3, 1, 3, 7. This is a 9 because of this 1. That's a 1. That's now a 7 because I've already got 1 and 9. This is now a 9. This is a 4 6 pair that you can see. That forces this to be an 8. That is a 6. That is a 2. That is a 6. That is not 6 or 8. That is a 2. This is now 9 and 8, I'm going to say. The 9 you can see disambiguates. That's the 9. That's the 8. Hang on. 9, 8. Therefore 6, 8. 4 6 pair gives me a 2. Well, I mean, that 6 also helps resolve the 2. This is still 2 or 4. The 2 gives me a 4, a 6. A 4, a 6. A 6 gives me the 4 that I was suspecting. This is now 5 or 6. That 6 gives me 6 in here, 5 in there, 4 in there, and if I've not made any mistakes, a 5 for the finish. So it is definitely hard work if you do not use the Phistomefel ring, but it is still solvable without it. But what an absolutely phenomenal puzzle, gUBBLOR. I'd almost be sort of tempted to re-record this again whilst using the Phistomefel ring and just show that it will be so much quicker. Because knowing that these digits are exactly the same as these digits, it will really sort of move things along. And one of the things that obviously you can immediately spot is because it is shifted lines, it means that the 5s are not in any of these. The 5s are always in the corners, and that will just help you make a lot of progress fairly quickly, especially when we initially place the 4 5 in there. So there's a few tricks there. The even digits being limited to the corner, knowing that these two are low, knowing that they're different, that this is 2 4. Almost certainly would have forced that the others are 6 and 8. So you've got options in basically speeding up the solve. But what a phenomenal puzzle. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video and the solve as well. Well, the puzzle and the video. and I'll see you back for the next one. Bye bye for now.